Every layer is at least a 9 out of 10 for me in Donkey Kong Bonanza. There are so many different layers and so many different things to do in them. But today we're going to be ranking the top 5 absolute best of the best today. But before we get this video started, huge spoiler warning for Donkey Kong Bonanza. So if you haven't finished the game, please click off the video because I do not want to spoil it for you. And so with that all out of the way, like and subscribe and let's rank my top 5 absolute favorite layers in Donkey Kong Bonanza. At number 5, we have the Groove Layer, and it honestly doesn't get good until after you beat K. Rool. But I can say being put in jail and having to save Pauline the first time you get here is pretty cool. Once you do beat K. Rool though, comes the good part. You have to save all the groove tones, and once you do that, you get to become the DJ of the whole layer, and you can play bangers like this. You can even access these harps around the layer, which actually changes the green bouncy stuff into literal gold, which is really neat. But the best part about the harps is that you can change some of the material on the glam tones, depending on if they're made out of that bouncy or gold material. Finally, you cannot talk about the Groove Layer without mentioning the Fossil Museum. It is so neat to look at all your fossils that you've collected throughout the game, and so rewarding when you collect all of them. I think the Groove Layer is a perfect representation of how post-game can be better than the main story, and that is why I have to give it number 5 out of all 17 layers in Donkey Kong Bonanza. At number 4, we have the Hilltop Layer, and if we pause it right here, you can see that this layer has a lot in store for us. As you can tell, this layer is really open, and that's not what the normal Donkey Kong games are like. There's usually an enemy or challenge around every corner, but in this layer, you don't have to do that. You can just explore and look for bananas. This is the layer after you get the Kong Bonanza, and I think it is the perfect layer for it, just because you can destroy almost anything with it, and if you heard what I said in my last video, the Kong Bonanza is easily my favorite transformation to use destruction wise. The Bananium gems are also super fun to find in this layer. They could be underground, on a platform in the sky, and so much more. Speaking of Bananium gems, one of my favorite challenge levels are on this layer, and it's Nostalgia Country, being a callback to the first level in Donkey Kong Country 1. You can even go into DK's house, which gives you a banana and has a lot of Easter eggs, like a picture of DK, Diddy, Dixie, and Cranky on the wall, and the TV from K. Rool's Smash Bros. Reveal trailer, which is really neat in my opinion. Overall, I think the Hilltop Layer is a perfect way to put some open world into Donkey Kong, and honestly, it is super fun to collect the bananas, super fun challenges, and I don't think it deserves any less than number 4 on my list. At number 3, we have the Planet Core, and honestly, this might have one of the best lead-ups in video game history. Starting with K. Rool punching the crap out of Void Kong to the sinkhole that leads you to the Planet Core, it is also set up perfectly in this game. But when you finally make it to the Planet Core, you're greeted by this giant K. Rool statue that is almost made of pure gold. And you get to see your first Kremling since Donkey Kong 64, and they still make the iconic sound. There is a whopping 9 sublayers in the Planet Core, and they test all of DK's skills, from turf surf to even throwing. But we can't talk about the Planet Core without talking about the fossils you can get here. They are all made out of 8-bit, and they even have a giant 8-bit DK from the arcade games, which is amazing to see. Even the clothes represent the past, with DK having these amazing retro pants, and Pauline having the lady dress, which, you guessed it, represents Lady, the person on top of the tower in the original Donkey Kong arcade game. Once you make it past all the sublayers though, you make it to the Planet Core, and you know how that goes. 3 K. Rool battles, and they all play amazingly. I didn't realize how fun the Planet Core was until I came back to it post-game, and when I did, I realized it could be number 3 on this list, and guess what? It is number 3. At number 2, we have the Resort Layer, and as you can see, there is a lot of fruit on this layer. But when you punch the fruit, you can even see DK eating it, which is a nice touch. When you first land here, you'll see this shark dude on the dock, and when you punch him, he'll create a rainbow bridge. This rainbow bridge is actually made up of the new material in this layer, and it's actually called lift up ore, and when you lift it up, you'll actually go flying in the air. This layer is a lot like the Hilltop Layer. It's super open, but it's so much better because it's based off a beach and not just a grassy plain this time. Your main objective in this layer is to destroy the giant watermelon up top, and when I say it's satisfying, it's one of the most satisfying things you can do in this game. I can also say this about the layer: this is the funnest place to use the zebra bonanza because this is the first time you'll be able to run on top of the water, which is one of its main abilities. I thought the resort layer was pretty unique, from the lift up ore to the giant watermelon on top. But since I thought it was way better than the Hilltop Layer, and the Hilltop Layer was at number 4, I think I have to give it number 2, but there is only one layer that can be number 1. And finally, at number 1, we have the Radiance Layer. I love snow levels in video games, but I didn't think Donkey Kong's snow level was gonna go this hard. I thought the plot was really cool for this layer too, because you have to turn on the artificial sun that the snakes made all by themselves. Speaking of the sun, the light is actually a crucial part of this layer, being the only way to damage some of the enemies down here. If you've already heard me mention snakes, you'll probably know that this is the place where you get the snake bonanza, and honestly, it's really cool to see a bonanza form that acts a lot like Tigger from Winnie the Pooh. I also thought the sub-layers were very unique in here, but the most unique one was sub-layer 1303. You start by landing in this very large snowfield into this giant glass mansion that is full of crocoids. But overall, even if the Radiance Layer doesn't have the best bonanza form being the snake bonanza, I love snowy levels in video games, and each sub-layer is super unique, so I think I have to give it number 1 on this list out of every layer in Donkey Kong Bonanza. Well, here is my official top 5 layers in Donkey Kong Bonanza. I thought it would be good to get a top 5 layers video out there for the first month of this game, because then we can see how I think of it later in the game's life cycle. And what do you think about my list? Do you like it? Do you not? Or even tell me your top 5 layers in the comments down below. But with that all said, consider liking and subscribing. Thank you for watching, and peace out.